You know what time it is. If you don't, now you will. Hello and welcome to A Pod with CAHN, the pod in which we discuss all things related to health within the Afro-Caribbean community.
And just some few housekeeping rules before we dive a little deeper into today's conversation. So if you're on socials, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at CAHN_UK. And you can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn when you search the Caribbean and African Health Network.
Wonderful. Join the conversation, guys. We've noticed a couple of people have been joining the conversation recently, and we want to say thank you for that. People are using the hashtag CAHN Talk, so please join the conversation using the same hashtag. That's CAHNTALK on socials and all platforms, and we'll join the conversations there with you. My name is Sam. My co-hosts today are
Shekinnah.
Hi, I'm Diana.
brilliant. It's nice to hear your voice, ladies. And today's episode will be discussing the matters related to the change in seasons and, how that's affecting us personally and, the wider population. So let's dive straight into it. Dr. Diana, I'll start with you. How has your week been this week?
Thank you, Sam. This week has gone very quickly in my eyes. I
Mhm.
sort of started the week on a fairly hectic note on Monday with a very long clinic. And the next thing I realized, we're midweek already. So for me, it's been a busy one so far, but quite interesting as well. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Shekinnah, how has your week been this week?
It's been a chilled week. I feel like my week's been more catching up with uni work. Yeah, if I was to phrase it all together, yeah, it's been uni work and then balancing it with the work I do at CAHN as well. So overall, it's been a chilled week. I can't say it's been extremely busy because I've not felt that way, but yeah, it's been chilled. What about you, Sam?
Mine has kind of gone quickly at the same time as Dr. Diana, because I was just thinking to myself when I woke up this morning, I was like, "Oh my god, it's Wednesday! Oh, that means the weekend's like around the corner." So have I achieved what I wanted to achieve this week? Well, by the end of this recording and by the end of the day, I'm sure I would have. So yeah, I'm happy that the weeks are flying,
Hmm.
sort of, because the new
Yeah,
year is around the corner. That means like more growth, 1 year older, all the good stuff that comes with going into the new year, but also
mhm.
that other feeling or that other side that comes to the mind where you're like, did I achieve enough in this year?
Mm,
So
yeah,
I, I'm trying to have a really like positive end to the year and a really good start to the next year,
yeah,
because I feel like 2023 will be amazing just for everyone, not just for me. Um, so yeah, I'm glad that the weeks are going by
yeah,
quickly ish, but I'm also glad that the new year is going to be quite fruitful.
yeah.
Um, I'm also very glad to hear that you both had good weeks. No problem. Good weeks, and that we're still optimistic.
Yeah.
Actually, Dr. Diana, I was telling this to Shekinnah a few days ago. I think it was on Monday. When I woke up and I literally opened my curtains, I was like, "Ooh, energetic Mondays," and I was like, "Where did this come from?" I said it out loud, and I was like, "Where did this come from?" And I was like, "Yeah, this is a good week to start positive and start excited for the week." So
You're
yeah,
certainly applying those principles, aren't you? Which we talked
yes,
about a
hundred
few
percent,
weeks
hundred
ago.
percent.
Yes, I'm sure our viewers will remember when we talked about energetic Mondays. Yes, and it's quite crucial, especially as the weather patterns change at the moment as well. And we're experiencing less light hours, shorter days and longer nights or longer sort of dark hours. It can have an
Hmm.
impact, can't it? On
Yeah.
everything we do, on our enthusiasm, on our energy levels, and certainly on our mental health and even on our physical health if we don't allow ourselves to just carry on doing the things we need to do. And I was having a chat with a few people about how, it can dampen your spirits a bit, all those dark hours. I don't like it when it's dark. And so
Yeah,
we
hundred
really
percent.
need to expose ourselves to a bit more daylight or light, bright light, a bit more
Mhm.
exercise to get all those good hormones and enzymes up and get our mental health in a very more positive sort of a phase as well. So yes, energetic Monday is definitely the way to go.
Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you. Just a quick question that popped into mind while we're talking about like the darkness and how the season's like changing slightly. Is it me or is it a lot darker than it normally is? I feel like
Yeah,
this year's darkness is
it's
like pitch
dark.
black.
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm like, has it always been this dark or is this global warming? So I don't know. I want to ask you guys,
yeah.
do you guys feel like it's like pitch black all the time or maybe I'm overthinking?
For me, because obviously the time changed and it went back. So when it's 5, especially 5, is when I noticed that it's very dark. In my head, I'm like, okay, this was 6, but even the 6 I knew before, it was
Hmm.
dark.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm on the same page with you. Like, I don't know how come it got so dark all of a sudden, but yeah, yeah, the darkness is very dark. Yeah,
Yeah. It's pitch black these days. It's pitch black. And I suppose when it comes to like this season, I know we love like the leaves and like how colorful everything
Mm.
is, and it's quite warming. Like I feel like this is the only time in the year where I actually feel the need to drink hot drinks. Although I haven't started yet, but these are the only times I feel like you need to drink hot drinks and stay warm and stay cozy. And I suppose it would be the most appropriate time to take your flu
Mm.
jabs and your boosters because like this is when everyone starts to get a bit poorly.
yeah.
And yeah, so Dr. Dinah, as a physician, did I still use that technical term? As a someone in the medical field, how do you advise people to go about like the flu jabs and stuff like that? What do you think is your like go to message when it comes to staying protected from the flu this season?
Yes, that's a very topical issue that you raise, Sam, and very relevant because we are in the flu season in the United Kingdom. And
Hmm.
as we probably know, every year there is a different sort of vaccine developed based on the predominant strains, which is meant to protect us against flu, but also mainly meant to protect us against the extremely harmful, detrimental effects of flu. So it doesn't mean that you may not get the flu. Most people may not get
Hmm.
it anyway, but even if you do get the flu, then it's protecting you from those complications like severe pneumonia that can end people up in ITU on a ventilator or end up dying, severe respiratory problems or respiratory arrest and things like that. So it is very crucial that patients who are in the at risk categories do get their flu jab. And this year, the sort of, well, most years, but this year, a lot of people are also not just having the flu jab, but also having the COVID jab. And interestingly, the same kind of people who would be in the at-risk group for flu jab are in the at-risk group for COVID as well. So a lot of the elderly, a lot of people with chronic conditions, a lot of people with diabetes or asthma or COPD or heart disease or the kidney transplant patients or cancer patients, you know, all of
Hmm.
those patients who would normally be having the flu jab, they're also having the COVID jab. What's happening in the communities is that you have these community hubs, vaccination hubs, that are offering both the flu jab and the COVID jab. And it's perfectly safe for the benefit of our listeners that you can have both the flu jab and the COVID jab together. That is absolutely safe to have. But just specifically, why is flu important? We've said that already because we don't want people to come very unwell and be overwhelmed by the
Hmm.
flu, and so that is why the flu is important. If you're over 50, if you're pregnant, if you've got health conditions, chronic health conditions, if you live in a care home or a nursing home, if you're deemed to be at risk, then you will be eligible for the flu, and you can book that online by the NHS app, or you can speak to your surgery about how to go about it, or you can book at the vaccination hubs. And similarly, people will be having their COVID boosters as well, and they would have received messages regarding going on to book their COVID boosters. Yes, so a good time to boost your immunity as much as you can. I'm sure we'll be talking about non-medication things like exercising and all of
Yes.
that in a minute. But
Yeah.
yeah, that just something that we thought we should mention about the flu and the COVID boosters this time around. Yep. Are any of you in those categories where you end up having a flu jab? Sam, you?
No,
No, no.
Nah.
We
no.
I'll
yeah.
gladly. Thank God. Uh,
We have to have it
it
because
seems
of
like a lot of
work. So
stress. Oh
Yes, so
yeah,
health professionals.
exposure to those
Hmm.
people.
Need to protect yourself so you can keep going to look after the patients and equally not expose them to stuff. So I've had my flu
Mm.
jab already and my COVID jab.
Leading by
Yes,
example. That's what we want to
yes.
see.
Yeah.
So she's not just advising us, or she's not just like telling us what's going down. She's, leading by example and ensuring that we're all staying safe, and she's staying safe, take care of her family and her patients. Thank you very
Yeah.
much, Dr.
Thank
Diana,
you.
for that.
For anyone that's listening who's wondering, because you mentioned you can get both vaccines at the same time. So is it a case of they just go into their community hub and then request for that, or is that like for specific people only? Could you like elaborate on that further?
Yeah, so for booking the vaccine, so if someone is eligible only for the flu jab, so I can only speak for what's happening in our area, but it will
Okay.
probably be mirrored up and down the country anyway, with probably minor variations. But what is happening in our area is that if you're eligible for if you only need the flu, let's say you're not due, you don't need a COVID booster yet, and you just need your flu jab, then you can just have the flu booked at your surgery, the old fashioned way how people used to book it, either a phone call or we have certain Saturdays that are designated where people basically come lined up, sleeves rolled up, straight line, and then we do our flu clinics and we get through quite huge numbers that way. In addition to when people pop into surgery for whatever reason, they can also opportunistically have their flu jabs done. So that is for the flu. And then obviously the COVID, we're not giving the COVIDs in the surgery. The COVIDs are being administered by the vaccination hubs. So this is where people go online and book, and it will, when you put in your postcode, it will show you your closest COVID vaccination site. But the advantage at the moment is that rather than someone coming to the surgery to have a flu and going to the COVID vaccination center to have it, if you need both of them or if you're eligible for both of them. So let's say a typical 66-year-old gentleman who's got diabetes. The fact that you're over 65 means you will be eligible for flu. The fact that you're over 65, you're probably due for your COVID booster anyway if you've got diabetes and some other health factors. So this gentleman would just go online and book his COVID jab and also book his flu jab. And when he goes to the vaccination center, he will have both of them on the same day. So literally one in the right arm and the other in the left arm. And that's him sorted. So it depends on what people need to book. They can book their flus at the surgery or they can go online to book both the flus and the COVIDs. But do find out from your local health service what the protocol is, because there might be minor variations, as I said, in different parts of the country. But in Winchester, where I work, that's what we're doing at the moment.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you.
Shekinnah, you mentioned earlier about sleep, did you? I don't know whether you said something about sleep or whether it was when Sam was saying about the darkness getting really dark, it's affecting his sleep pattern. What what are your
Yeah,
thoughts? How's your sleep at the moment?
When the clock went back an hour, I was like, oh, I've got an hour extra sleep. Like I was actually so happy getting more sleep. But so at A level I did psychology and we studied like the effects of light and sleep pattern and stuff. And the fact that it's more dark now, people are more likely to be tired, more likely to have less energy because there's less light. So it's communicating to your brain like, yeah, it's time to sleep kind of thing.
hmm
So yeah, so at the moment, it's my sleep pattern is getting better. Yeah, I'd say it's getting better because it's like it's dark, I get more sleep kind of thing, but at the same time, it's more my wake up routine that needs to improve. So I'm sleeping very well, but it's just waking up to actually like get ready and do stuff and be active in the day is where it's more of a struggle. But yeah, sleeping is good. I love sleep as well. Yeah.
You can tell that's one of your hobbies, just having a nap. I can't lie, I love a good nap. When I was younger, I didn't enjoy napping though. I remember when my
Oh
parents would like,
yeah, it was a
go take a
punishment.
nap. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, right? It's like, why? I want to stay awake. I want to have energy. Well, they used to call it siesta, which made it, well, it sounded more fancy, but yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't as attractive as a young kid. But now as an adult, I'm like, if I get time to nap, I'm taking that nap.
Yeah,
Because
fair
yeah,
enough.
the extra boost of energy goes a long way. Because then I feel, like when you wake up, you feel like, oh, you just come out of a shower, you're revitalized, you're ready to go. You
Mhm.
become like a super go getter. And another thing that's been helping me with like sleep and like keeping up my energy levels since the change in change of season is just taking my vitamin D tablets. And yeah, I feel like before I didn't used to think they worked. I thought it was like a placebo kind of thing. But yeah, lately I've been feeling the change. And yeah, as we're advocating for flu jabs and COVID jabs and better sleep, people, please take your vitamin D tablets, take your vitamin C tablets, take your was it cod oil, like take every supplement you know you can take because
Yeah.
we need to keep pushing and we need to keep being like who we are. So yeah, thank
Mhm.
you very much for that, Dr. Diana and Shekinnah. And guys, have good sleeping patterns, have good sleeping habits. I think those are the things the elites, as you would call them, always champion for. Waking up at 6 a.m. on their grind, going to bed at like 10 a.m., 10 p.m. on their grind. So yeah, that's wonderful, guys. Before we just quickly go on to a different question that I had in mind to ask you, I was thinking like, okay, you know how there are people out there that know about vaccines and jabs and all of that. Are there any other like holistic methods people can do to avoid having the flu, opposed to getting a jab? Because I'm not saying I'm against the jab. I'm just saying like I'm playing devil's advocate here at this moment. Let me be that person. But from your expertise, Dr. Diana, and also Shekinnah, from what you may have been told or what you know, are there like holistic ways people can avoid getting the flu or getting the cold or just being a bit lethargic this season?
Yeah, thanks. That's a really good question. And obviously, it poses a very balanced argument, doesn't it? That we need to bear in mind not everybody is keen on having a vaccine or having a jab. So,
Hmm.
yes, that's a very relevant question. Um, are there any other ways of people staying healthy? Yes, there are other ways of people staying healthy. Are there any other ways of boosting your immunity? Absolutely, yes, there are ways of boosting your immunity. So, those would probably be the general principles. What can you do to boost your immunity? What can you do to make yourself healthier overall? What can you do to sort of put your body in a better position to fight infections, any kind of infection or any kind of sort of challenge that your body faces, holistically without necessarily having an injection or a jab?
Hmm.
Is a very good point, because there are lots of things we can do. We can eat healthily, and we always talk about healthy eating. So we can boost our sort of immunity through vitamins in our food, through minerals in our food, through foods that contain antioxidants. So you talked about vitamin C. You don't necessarily have to take the tablet. You can take lots of fruits, lots of vegetables.
Hmm.
Lots of greens. They're rich in your iron. They're rich in your folic acid, your B12, your vitamin C. You can eat healthily. During the summer, we hopefully get enough sunshine to boost our vitamin D levels, but also eating healthily to get calcium helps your vitamin D and other related hormones work better. So, those are the sorts of things that we can do to boost our immunity. Exercising regularly is also a very good thing, because it pushes up all those positive hormones, which we keep talking about. We've said this a million times. I feel like I'm just a broken record on that one. I'm sorry.
No, we have to
But
stay
we
healthy,
have
guys,
to
because we're
stay
trying to
healthy.
live
Yes,
long.
you're right.
We're trying to enjoy this life. So I'm sorry for repeating ourselves, but we're very big. We're very passionate. I think this is coming from the core of our principles. We're very passionate about you know sustaining life and sustaining our health. So yeah.
Yes, indeed we are, and exercise is a great way to do that, and a non-chemical way to do that. You're not injecting
Mhm.
anything, you're not putting anything into your body. You're just priming your body to do what it does best in a positive way. So that as well. Um, but specifically, is there anything else that can sort of increase your antibodies specifically against flu? I think that might probably be a more challenging question. So, the way to have that antibody primed or immunity directly primed would either be having the jab, or for people who've had the flu a few times over, then their body sort of gets used to it and they build up their own antibodies. The trouble, though, is with the flu, each year there's a slight difference in strain. And so sometimes what your body was used to last year may not be quite what your body would be able to face if you were to be you know infected by the flu this year, for instance. And a similar challenge with the COVID, with all these evolving variants and extra variants, it just makes it a bit more tricky. But yes, we can certainly do those lifestyle things to help boost our immunity, and I think we should heavily advocate for that as well. You're one for
You're
exercise, aren't
preaching
you?
to the choir.
Pardon?
Yes. So you're preaching to the choir, and
Yeah.
yeah, I'm a big advocate for exercise. I feel like that's the only, um, funny enough, that's the only medium that gives me the ability to actually fall asleep.
Mm,
Is when I'm like physically exhausted from like lots of exercise throughout the week and
yeah.
throughout the day. And again, like in the nature of what I do for my job is that like I'm basically sat down most of the time. So then I don't realize how much I'm not moving
Hmm.
till I finish work and I'm like, oh no, I need to go do something where my heart rate is feeling like I'm about to explode. So I think that kind of leads me on to what I wanted to ask Shekinnah and yourself, and I'll also answer this question as well. Since we're in the autumn, I think we're in autumn now, right? We
Yeah.
can say
Yeah,
that.
we are.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, because I don't really keep track of when the seasons start and stop, but we're in autumn now, so I'd like both of you to think and give us three things you would consider are your favorite things about the autumn season. And going forward, we'll make this a seasonal thing where we ask each other and get to know each other a bit more on that. So I'll give you some time to think. And while you're thinking about that, I'll just plug in our little, um, no, well, it's not little, it's quite big. But on Tuesdays, we normally have Healthy Hearts, where we have a nutritionist come on to Zoom and YouTube and Facebook Live to talk to the audience about healthy eating habits and healthy diets, healthy foods to help us live longer. I know we are, championing living life for the fullest amount of time you can and enjoying it. So you can tune in on Tuesdays from 7 on our YouTube, on our Facebook, and on Zoom. So I would attach that in the descriptions so that people are aware when these things are going on. So please feel free to tune in then. It's just something additional that you can learn from and you could benefit from going forward. So after the plugin, and also don't forget use the hashtag can't talk to let us know what you think about these sessions and the flu jabs and COVID jabs. But first of all, Dr. Diana and Shekinnah. Let's go with Shekinnah first. What are your three favorite things of autumn?
Yeah, this one was hard to think of because I like the sun. So, yeah, the change in season, it getting colder. I'm like, what do I actually like about autumn? But one thing that comes with autumn is the start of a school year. So, I'm in uni, so I actually enjoy the start of an academic year because it's like new modules, kind of new tutors. It depends on the course, where it's like it's a fresh start kind of thing, and it's also like a progression of what you've done so far. But it's just, yeah, it's a new academic year, so I look forward to it. I'm that person that gets new stationery, new books kind of thing, because I do graphic design, so I'm buying new sketchbooks, new pencils and stuff like that. And I even got a new laptop recently as well, so
Mm.
it's like
Enjoying
yeah,
life.
just yeah, new, just, yeah, a new academic year is what I enjoy about autumn. Yeah, that's the main thing. I'm struggling to think of anything else because it's cold. It's actually cold.
It is cold, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I have to give you that. It is cold. I'll let you go for now, but you might need to give us one more extra thing. So, Dr. Diana, do you want some time to think or do you want me to go ahead?
No, I'll quickly say mine because Chico might
Okay.
grab them and then I'll have nothing to say.
Yeah,
So
then
yeah,
we'll all be
or
stuck.
you might even say what I want to say. Yes, no, I agree with you, Shikaina. I love the sun, and I love, you know, I really love sunshine. So cold is not really my thing, but I still love autumn in a very peculiar way because it's a beautiful time of the year. So it's a colorful time of the year. You know, you've got all the colors, the leaves, the seasons changing, and it's just beautiful. It's just something about nature just calling you towards itself and reminding us of, for me personally, the awesomeness of God. So it's
Hmm.
such a lovely time. and there's so much to appreciate. I know that, yes, the weather changes very quickly and it gets dark so quickly, which we don't particularly like, but these things have to happen for life to go on, because there are other creatures who also rely on these sort of patterns, weather patterns and cycles, for the whole sort of life as a big ecosystem to carry on going on. So although I may not be a fan of the cold, I like the fact that the colors are different, the leaves are falling and they're changing, and it's beautiful in its own way. So I do like that about autumn, because we don't quite get that in summer, do we? And
No,
although it
no.
is very cold, um, I like the fact that you can wrap up really nicely and warmly. So I'm not one for wrapping up, because it's a whole malarkey. Dressing up and dressing down just alone can take like half an hour. But the fact that once you actually wrap up and you're warm, and there's just a nice feeling about being warm. It doesn't help the energy bills, certainly doesn't help the heating costs.
100%.
But I
Yeah,
think
you have to
the
really
heated
get
blankets
cozy.
these days that people can use, and I was going to look into that actually, try and get some heated blankets and maybe cut down on some energy costs. But the other thing which I really like about this time of the year is just Christmas. I'm a massive
Mm,
Christmas fan, and I love Christmas so much because it's just a time to just think about the gift of Christmas, think about the fact that it's family time, it's a time for giving, it's a time for sharing, it's a time for spending time with each other and focusing on the goodness of God. And it's a time when people just stop and make the effort to spend time with each other. So even no matter how busy you are, at least on Christmas Day and Boxing Day, everyone tries to make time. Even people who have to go off to shifts will try, and if they can't make time on Christmas Day, they'll try and make time on Boxing Day. So just that whole Christmas season, where for almost a whole week, or hopefully a whole week from Christmas to New Year, if you're
mm.
lucky. If you're
Yeah.
unlucky, then yeah, you just have that family time and spend time together and just focus on all the gifts that we've had. I know that it's also a tricky time for some people, because for people who are lonely, who are isolated, who've lost loved ones, it can be quite a
Yeah.
sad time as well. Um, and our heart goes out to such people who've been in such situations. But it's just another nice thing to celebrate about autumn. And then my favorite part about autumn is when it's coming to an end and then we're heading into spring.
So the sun comes out and
And
the
then the
fresh
sun is
springs
coming
come to,
out and it's just
yeah,
fresh.
come to
And I'm a
fruition.
spring baby, so I absolutely love spring. But anyway, there we go. Hopefully, I've left
Ah,
you
you
something to
you took a
say.
lot of
Some.
mine.
No, I'm sure there are loads there.
50-50. You took a lot. I was really hoping you didn't say about the colors, because that was like the one thing that I realized I
Yeah,
enjoy about autumn. So yeah, that, and also yeah, definitely like the Christmas period is pretty lit. Everyone loves a good Christmas do and a good Christmas like moment.
yeah,
I've even seen Mariah Carey already started promoting her
yeah.
Christmas songs, so it's good. I hope it's a good
And
Christmas
Christmas
this year for
markets and all
everyone.
that. We better save this for the
Yeah,
Christmas
yeah, I'm
edition.
looking
We're
forward to that.
saying all the stuff
Yes,
to save it.
we will definitely. Oh, definitely, we're gonna give you guys a great Christmas edition. So keep tuning in for
Yeah.
that. I'd say before I come to China, I'll say my favorite thing of autumn, as actually recently, because it's been getting dark quite quickly. You can actually see the moon,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like really clear and really like
Mm-hmm.
attractive to look at. You, because I've noticed I just find myself just staring at the moon like, wow, this is wow. Like I could, there's nothing else I could say with just wow. So I said that's one of my favorite things for autumn. Definitely the colors. And um what would be the third thing? The third thing. Yeah, I'd say yeah. The third thing would be, well, playing football outside in the cold and getting to wear your thermals so that you're feeling extra warm. I know it sounds a bit cheesy, but you're feeling extra warm, and then when you're running and you're cooling down, the wind's cooling you down as it's cold. It's weird. It's weird but nice, you know. As a Nigerian person, it's kind of strange. I enjoy that cold aspect of life. But yeah, those are my three top favorite things about autumn. Shekinnah, do you want to add anything else to your list?
So what you said about the moon gave me inspiration. I'll call it that. So
Nice.
when I was walking home the other day from uni, I actually looked up and I could see stars, and it was
Yeah.
like the first time I was like, wow, you can actually see stars, because usually, because of the city lights and stuff, you can't really see the stars. The most you see is the moon. So I could actually see quite a few stars in the sky, and I was like, oh, this is nice. So yeah, that's another thing I've enjoyed about autumn so far.
Mm.
Fantastic. Yeah, stargazing is pretty lit. That's on my bucket list to like go to somewhere far away that's like no light pollution and just gaze and look at telescopes. And as we're currently saying this, I'm looking out my window and there's like a lovely cloud just floating. It's quite nice. But yeah, let me not
Which
get
kind
let
of
me not get
cloud is it? We're not going to
sentimental.
go into that.
I I have no idea what those are. I'm not that deep into into knowing clouds, but it's quite scenic, and most likely I will be taking a picture after this as soon as I'm done, if it's still right there actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, thank you for listening so far. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. We really appreciate every single one of you who listens to us, who interacts with us, who uses the hashtag CAHN Talk. We would love to know what your favorite autumn moments are, or your autumn favorite things about autumn. Let's put it that way. Use the hashtag CAHN Talk. We would like to discuss it with you. If you have the same thoughts as we do, you enjoy the moon during the season, you enjoy the colorfulness of life and the amazing warmness that it brings from being able to wrap up your favorite blankie, please let us know. You know, all these things are very important because we are currently building a community of listeners, and we want to make sure that this space is here for everyone to feel welcome, to share, and also to have something to listen to while they're having their cuppa and putting their feet up for that final, 20-30 minutes of the day or whenever you want to listen to us. So yeah, definitely thank you for tuning in today. We really appreciate that. Before we dash off, do you guys have any final words to say to our listeners?
Shekinnah, go first. Done you over.
She got you in the hot seat.
Um, yeah, just stay safe during autumn. Wrap up warm. Like Dr. Diana said, it feels nice when you can actually put like a jacket on and like
Hmm.
wear a scarf. I actually love scarves as well. So it's like, yeah, you're wrapping warm. You can also be fashionable while you wrap warm as well. So
Hey,
yeah, yeah, just stay safe, wrap warm, and yeah, have a good sleep pattern and exercise. And if you need to get your flu jab or vaccine, then please do, because we want you to live a healthy life. Yes.
Good one. Good one. I would,
yeah,
yes.
definitely.
Certainly along the same thread. Do stay healthy, eat healthily, and exercise regularly. Go on those lovely autumn walks and admire nature and see what you can find and discover new trails. There's actually a program on Radio 4 talking about walks in the winter time or in the autumn time, and people writing poems about what they see and what they find. So discover a new trail and share with us next time you join us on the pod. Do get your flu jab, do get your COVID boosters if you're eligible for them, and definitely stay safe. Keep warm.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Dr. Diana. Thank you, Shekinnah. And we're just saying goodbyes. My name is Sam. It's nice to hear from my co-host and to speak to them and discuss the seasonal changes. So goodbye, everyone.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye.